Talent gets you admired, consistency gets you trusted, and the distance between admiration and trust is far wider than most people realize. Your brain actually spends less effort evaluating people whose behavior is predictable, which means reliability is not just a virtue, it's a cognitive preference. But what makes this truly powerful is how that preference compounds, quietly building something that even the most gifted individuals struggle to earn without it. Consistency means repeated follow-through in daily routines, actions, and communication. It is the absence of volatility. Respect is reputational capital, measured by the willingness of others to rely on someone over time. While talent is undeniably valuable for opening doors and sparking initial attention, it does not automatically generate trust. When raw capability is unpredictable, it creates anxiety. This is why the focus belongs on long-term outcomes rather than short-lived reactions. Talent may initiate a relationship, but consistency decides how long that relationship endures, serving as the quiet foundation of true credibility. The human brain constantly works to conserve energy, scanning the environment for patterns to minimize mental effort. When someone acts predictably, they reduce the cognitive load of those around them. Observers do not have to waste mental resources guessing intentions, assessing risks, or preparing for sudden changes. This reduction in mental friction makes the decision to trust almost automatic. But predictability is only the first step. To sustain respect, reliable behavior must also signal genuine commitment. In evolutionary psychology, a signal becomes believable when it requires an ongoing investment of time, energy, or resources. A single display of talent can be easily faked or driven by luck. However, repeating a helpful action day after day is difficult to counterfeit. The cumulative cost of showing up reliably acts as an honest signal. It shows a willingness to bear immediate personal costs for long-term relationships, converting simple predictability into durable credibility. Repetition does more than ease mental strain in the present. It changes how others forecast the future. Behavioral science shows that tiny repeated choices accumulate mathematically over time. A simple 1% daily improvement compounds into a 37-fold gain by the end of a single year. This compounding effect applies directly to how human relationships are built. Reputation is never a single spectacular event. It is the statistical aggregation of observed behavior over months and years. When we observe someone, our brains use the consistency heuristic to calculate and predict their next move. We naturally favor low-variance partners because they eliminate the mental friction of surprise. A 2021 study on trust calibration showed that people will consciously overtrust a highly reliable partner simply to maintain a smooth, cooperative environment. Talent can draw people in, but a single flash of brilliance provides few data points for forecasting the future. Lasting credibility relies instead on steady, low-variance patterns that allow others to safely invest in tomorrow. In commercial markets, the battle between a flash of genius and steady execution plays out daily in customer retention. Consider the coffee subscription brand Blackstone Road. While a viral launch spike might capture initial attention, long-term survival relies on operational predictability. When subscription services introduce skip or pause delivery options, they reduce customer churn by approximately 22%, turning a standard transaction into a secure, flexible relationship. Similarly, online retailer Zappos built its entire corporate identity around the relentless consistency of 24/7 customer support and frictionless returns, rather than flashy marketing campaigns. Consistent service eliminates buyer anxiety, transforming random buyers into loyal advocates. On the playing field, athletic team dynamics reveal a parallel truth. Coaches and teammates rarely build their long-term strategies around the most naturally gifted athlete if that individual is erratic. Instead, collective trust aligns with the quiet captain, the player defined by daily attendance, rigid routines, and dependable effort. While raw talent can accelerate a team's potential, it is the consistency of practice that serves as the actual reliability engine. When a game is on the line, leaders choose the player with the lowest variance in performance, proving that dependable execution underpins respect far more than occasional brilliance. In academic environments, the impact of a teacher's daily routine is highly measurable. A study from Iowa Women's University tracked classrooms where instructors returned graded assignments within 48 hours and maintained strict, predictable office hours. Instead of relying on occasional, high-energy lectures, this steady structure produced a 0.6 effect size increase in student engagement and an average test score gain of 8%. Predictability establishes a stable path, removing the mental energy students waste, trying to navigate erratic structures and allowing them to focus entirely on the material. In personal relationships, this same steady presence forms the bedrock of emotional safety. Psychologists John and Julie Gottman's research on relational stability focuses on bids for connection, the small, everyday attempts to secure a partner's attention or support. Their work shows that couples who consistently turn toward these micro-bids, rather than ignoring them, achieve a 94% accuracy rate in relationship survival. According to Harry Rice's intimacy model, each repeated, caring response builds trust capital over months, because repeating a supportive response day after day requires an ongoing investment of time and energy. These small interactions are read as honest signals of commitment, rather than mere transactional kindness. While grand, dramatic gestures might offer temporary excitement, they fail to construct lasting trust on their own. True commitment is read through the cumulative weight of daily, reliable presence. To suggest that talent is irrelevant would be historically and practically false. Natural gifts serve as a powerful engine for innovation, providing the initial burst of speed needed to seize rare opportunities. In high-stakes, highly dynamic environments, whether a sudden corporate crisis or a creative breakthrough, raw ability often shapes the outcome of a single, decisive moment. This spark commands immediate attention and widespread admiration. Yet, admiration is fundamentally distinct from trust. While talent defines what a person is capable of doing in their best moments, consistency determines what they can be relied upon to do in their worst. Exceptional ability can open the door and capture the spotlight, but it is the predictability of repeated execution that secures long-term credibility and converts fleeting applause into lasting respect. Reputation is the social memory of repeated behavior, a mental ledger where observers compress daily actions into a predictable pattern. While a single standout achievement creates a sudden spike in attention, this interest decays rapidly without reinforcement. True trust scales differently, following a distinct mathematical path. In early interactions, baseline trust climbs slowly, but as reliable choices accumulate, this confidence compounds. Controlled trust games demonstrate that after approximately 10 consistent interactions, trust scores reliably transition from a moderate 0.4 to a highly resilient 0.7. Beyond this threshold, additional repetitions yield diminishing returns, leveling off into an enduring baseline of credibility. This sigmoidal curve reveals that reputation is not built on spectacular, isolated events, but on the steady aggregation of reliable choices. It is this slow, compounding pattern that transforms raw capability into lasting respect, creating a predictable foundation that talent alone cannot sustain. Respect becomes concrete when others willingly delegate critical tasks, accept our leadership, or enter partnerships, knowing the risk of failure is minimized. This predictability makes cooperation feel safe. To build this baseline, implement a 30-day reliability audit centered on a single, repeated commitment. Support this routine using simple systems, such as daily time blocking or a shared checklist, to establish small public accountability. Finally, track progress with a single, clear, follow-through metric: the percentage of kept promises. This steady, predictable execution is what turns temporary admiration into permanent, operational respect. In an era obsessed with instant viral breakthroughs, raw talent remains highly visible. Yet, when the noise fades, we value those who remain standing. Brilliance captures our attention, but steady commitment secures our respect. How do you plan to show up tomorrow? Let me know in the comments.